You always think you have the right words to say when you go to do something like this and you set up like a whole podcast and you think like, "Oh yeah, I can talk for at least an hour." And then you go to do it and it's like, "No, I actually can't." And I think this is that moment where I'm realizing I probably can't do this. But we're going to try it anyways. So welcome everyone to the first ever episode of Mind Milk. This is the podcast, not the actual advice show. A little bit different. Podcast is going to be more of a one-to-one conversation. Maybe have a guest on, but it's going to be really talking about the personal aspects of what I do in this space, which is content creation. So this is the whole idea. This is the podcast that I've been thinking about for probably years now, but now have really been kind of pushing hard to make it happen. And now we're here and we're getting stuff going. And first episode is releasing this Monday as of May 9th. And the first episode was recorded, I think, January of 2025. I don't know. Listen, a lot of stuff has happened. let me get this clear. Oh, also, hi. For anyone who doesn't know who I am Scramaram. I am a content creator on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, wherever you can consume live streams. I try to live stream too, except for that one that does all the gambling. I don't really like the people that are on that one, so I tend to stay away from that one. But I've been a streamer for about 4 years now, going on 5. I started content creation way before that, when I was a little kid, doing like Minecraft Let's Plays or Call of Duty montages. So I've been in I've been a YouTube kid my whole life. The dream was to always be a YouTuber, and then it was a live streamer. And I started watching live streams back when it was just in TV. So I have a pretty deep plethora of knowledge when it comes to live streaming. And it's something that like I love talking about, but I feel like in most aspects you can't talk about. Like at work, I get so excited when someone talks about like their kid starts watching a live streamer, and I'm like, I know this person. I watched them years ago. And it's like now they're watching this live streamer, and I'm like, I don't know them, but like it sounds really cool. I think it's new media. I really do. I think it's new media. I think TV is dead. Cable television. I don't know if you guys have even tried watching TV recently. Every TV show results in someone that you like as a main character dying, and that's the big plot twist. It's not entertaining. I like live streaming because it's always reactionate. Like every moment can be a new moment that hasn't been done before on live streams. Most times it's not. Most times it's someone sitting in front of a screen reacting to a YouTube video and going, "Oh my god, bro, look at that. Whoa." But like you get those sliver of things where it's like they do like a game show or they do like a big live event, and I love that. I love that. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. Is stuff like that. Like um kind of the psychology of live streaming and what makes live streamers so unique and different, and why does this live streamer do this better than that live streamer, or like what goes into you clicking go live. For me, that's a difficult process, but for some people it's just as simple as hitting the go live button. I've definitely been at this computer before, behind this desk, looking at the OBS screen and just dreading hitting the go live button. And there's a reason for that. And it's a lot more complicated than it is just like, I don't know, going to play a video game with friends. There's an expectation. And so that's what this is all about. This podcast is kind of my freedom realm to do that, to talk about that stuff. And we're going to get into a bunch of that stuff. But it wouldn't be right for me to not address that. Yes, I was on a former podcast. And yes, there's a lot that has happened that has may be me no longer being on that podcast. And I want to take a moment to talk about that real quick. All right. So with content creation, when I started peak crow piss. Oh wait, that's a buzzword. We're gonna have to buzz that with like a different peak crow piss. That's what we'll say. It's peak crow piss. During peak crow piss, I was in college at a community college that I didn't even really want to go to. I just graduated high school. I was neck deep in a relationship that I needed to get out of 2 years earlier. And I was trying to find myself. And I was playing a lot of games. I realized I was like, man, I have a lot of fun doing this. I want to kind of do this full time. I am not good enough to be a pro gamer, but I feel like I'm entertaining enough to hold an audience. So you know what I decided to do? What every single person that doesn't have a job does is they go and sign up for Twitch. Now, I had a job. I had a job. I was living at my childhood home. I had a pizza place gig, and then I was working at a concrete company. So that's crazy contrast. So I was working 2 jobs on top of I was going to community college online for a general education degree because they didn't have what I wanted specified. So I was doing all of that, juggling that, and I started to live stream my Rocket League games. That's how it all started, was Rocket League. Rocket League, Minecraft, and I think I played Call of Duty back then. I can't even remember the third game, but I streamed to 3 people. 2 of them were my friends, and then one person joined in once in a while and stuck in for like 5 minutes and then would leave. And I was rolling. I did it quite often. I loved it. I think streaming at first was kind of a release for me, and I think it still is, but it's a lot different now because there's a bigger expectation when it comes to the streaming stuff. But from back then, it was a release of serotonin. It was a obsession of mine. It was a dream. It was a passion project. I felt immersed in the world of streaming. Being able to call myself a streamer after I've watched a bunch of streamers, it was really cool because it was like something that you don't really get to do a lot in your life. Like, okay, for example, you watch a baseball game and you see this baseball player and you're like, that's a really cool baseball player. I love that baseball player. I'm going to be like him. You could try, but you put in the effort. Most times you don't end up being that baseball player. I would say most of the time it's not going to happen. It's like probably once in a blue moon you get a guy that will become who they said they were going to become. What's wonderful about streaming is it's very much for anyone. Anyone can go live. There's no restriction. There was no like paywall for me to go and click the start streaming button. Was there restrictions on other things? Absolutely. The feeling of garnering a quality setup, that's a lot of money. The feeling of having nice emotes is a lot of money. Having good tech in regards of like audio and visual, like this camera that I have now, that was something that like when I first started would have been a dream to have. I was using like, do I even have it right now? Oh my god, I might. I do. This is my original camera right here. It's like a Logitech like 1080p camera that you could buy off of Amazon or whatever retail site for like 20-30 bucks. I bought that 4 years ago, and now that's my camera for when I want to stream and I want to show my cat Bear around. But it's stuff like that where you upgrade stuff that felt so rewarding. And that's what I loved about the content creation business is it's like there's always room to grow. There's always room to learn, and there's always room to innovate the space. I think what happens a lot is people hit walls. I do this a lot too, where I get into a game and the game does well, like views wise. And it's like, okay, hands off of it. I'm just going to play the game because obviously it does well. But now I'm starting to realize that that's not what we should do. When a game does well, we should build upon that. Okay, game does well. Why don't we add a challenge to it? Why don't we add a twist? Why don't we invite people to play it with us so then we have more people playing this game? Get it growing. I think I've done a better job about that. But that was something that I struggled with a lot when I first started. Like, I got sucked into the Minecraft era really bad. I remember vividly hating going live because I knew I had to go play Minecraft, and my ADHD just wouldn't want me to. I would sit there and I'd be like, I just want to play anything else. I really do. And then I would go live and I would go to play something else, and here comes all the fans, the chatters, whoever that wanted me to play Minecraft. Why aren't you playing Minecraft? Why aren't you playing Minecraft? And I don't blame them. I think I was annoyed at them. I probably yelled at them. I don't blame them. Why wouldn't I be? That was my game. So I learned something very early on to streaming, which was don't put all of your stuff into one specific thing because you want to be able to build a versatile portfolio. I think I'm probably the most variety gets. I think every week I'm playing 3 different games minimum, and then I'll switch it up every single week to play like 3 old games or 3 new games, and it's a lot. I think it doesn't help me at times, but I think it's also something that I just prefer over everything else. And I think that's also a big key is finding that balance of do you want to do it for stream or do you want to do it for yourself? Because gaming in a sphere, as a lot of people would put it, gaming is dying, which I don't agree with. I think the gaming culture is dying. I think being excited for game releases is dying. I think AAA titles being the big thing is dying. I think console releases are dying. That stuff, the industry itself, I think is eating itself alive because it keeps festering into how shit of a product can we make and how high of a price can we sell it. And they're not really even factoring in anything about the audience. But also at the same time, how much of that audience deserves a good title? You know what I mean? I think fan bases expect too much, but then also don't get anything at all. It's weird. It's like we expect the world, but then we're also like, oh, okay, well, I don't really want whatever this publisher made. And we end up finding diamonds in the rough from Twitch and streaming services, which is why I love doing it. Is because it's like I found games that I love solely based off the fact that my favorite streamers were all playing it. And it was the meta. So so now there's like a different, like, how do you phrase it? Like a different like ecosphere. Because originally when like games used to get released, it was like a game got released, it would go on Game Informer or go on like any of the like the game publishing websites, and you'd look into it and you'd watch a YouTube video of like a guy playing a let's play and you'd be like, I want to play that game. But now that's too easy. It's like a game releases there, you gotta figure out whether you like the publisher and you align your views with the publisher. You gotta figure out is it like AI generated at all? You gotta figure out the price point. You gotta figure out if you like the fan base, if the main character's cool, if the story's even cool. You haven't even played a second, you're wondering about the story. And then you're reading about like, oh well, it doesn't have cross platform and this that on release. And I've genuinely judged a game solely based off the fact that it didn't have colorblind mode when it first started. And I'm like, someone who is colorblind but not seriously enough that it should affect me, I was mad. And I think I've changed my opinion on that now. I don't think that's fair because I think a lot of publishers are under a lot of stress to make a game perfect, and they can't. They just can't. There's too much to do. So I like a game that is very actively supported in the community, i.e., Fortnite. Game that we all meme about, joke about, but it's lasted the tale of time because it listens to the fans eventually, and it will update things and push things into vaults or upgrade this or bring in new skins and characters. It really does the live update feature very well. And then there's games that don't do that at all and basically shoot themselves in the feet, i.e. multiverses. That was a game that I was really excited about. And I think Warner Brothers really dropped the bag on that one, because that one was going to be the platform fighter to compete with Smash Bros. In my opinion. And that sucked. And now they're on their final update. Or they're going to be on their final update. And that just stinks, because it just came out. And it just didn't do well because they weren't listening to the community right away. And it floundered. And I think a lot of games are like that now. There's so much pressure to do right away, and not enough pressure to fix their problems. Like, Helldivers did a great example of the inverse of that. They were doing everything right, and because of the greed of Sony, they basically killed that game. And it's horrible, because Helldivers was a great game, and they had to stick their nose in it. So there's no winning in the gaming community. That's why I think the gaming community, as much as it is like dead and gaming's dead, it's more about the community and how we celebrate games. If you want to play a video game, play a damn video game. Nobody's going to stop you. And honestly, whatever you play is whatever you play. We're gonna I'm gonna look at you a little strange, because I see what's in your Steam library, and I'm wondering, should you really be playing that game? But that's for you. That's for you to judge, not me. I am judging, but that's for you to judge. So that's what's wonderful about gaming. Is gaming won't die. You can just play the game that you want to play. But it's nice because I get to do that with streaming. I get to stream the game I want to stream, because I'm not going to let the community dictate that. And I think a lot of people let their communities dictate what they game. I'm not, obviously, until I invite a lot of people on, and until I actually have people on, I won't name drop streamers and content creators that I know this is happening to. But I have a personal example of someone that is a real life friend of mine that just started streaming. And I'm so excited for their growth. And I've been mentoring them because they've been asking great questions, and I've been keeping them motivated and keeping them streaming. I'm finding that they're stuck in a hole now, because they started something and they have this great idea that's getting them clicks and getting them views and getting them follows. But they're kind of stuck with it until they start pivoting once in a while and doing different things. They're kind of stuck being that specific content creator. And that's just like fascinating to me, that like it's a hive mind. Like, chat is a hive mind. Communities are a hive mind. And it's like, as soon as you start to rupture the hive gets angry, and they're, whoa. I'm going to go to a different hive. You're going to play this game right now? You've been playing this game every single day for the last 2 weeks, and now all of a sudden you're going to play this game? And I get it. Yeah. That would be like if you're watching a TV show and all of a sudden you're watching like a soap opera and it turns to SpongeBob. I love SpongeBob, but if I'm watching a soap opera, I want to watch the soap opera. So I think there's a good balance of blending content and starting to be like, hey guys, at this time we're gonna start playing this game, so we're gonna do this for a little bit and then we're gonna pivot. And you're gonna lose traction. And that's damaging to the brain. As much as they tell you not to worry about the view count, as much as they tell you to not worry about the follower count or like what chatters are saying, and it's gonna affect you, because you sit there and you're like, I thought I was there for the content. I thought I was the content, and like whatever game I played, it really didn't matter. But you learn real quick, no, the chat associates you with the content. So when you don't do the content, they don't know what to associate with you. And then there's the inverse. There's some chatters that associate with you too much, and it becomes an unhealthy relationship. And then you have to manage that. And I promise you, I won't go through it on this podcast because that's a whole podcast is talking about parasocial relationships. I have probably some of the most blatant anti parasocial takes because I've dealt with it, I've experienced it, I know people who've gone through it. It's scary, it's intimidating, it's everything that is a negative about content creation is the idea that you have to almost become an idol to some people. And if you do wrong, or if you're human and you make a mistake, or if you just feel uncomfortable one day and you don't really want people asking about your personal life, it's viewed as a negative in their eyes and they get hurt. You don't want to hurt anyone. We're doing this for fun. That's what streaming and content creation was about, was doing it for fun. So now you're like, okay, I have to manage this person's emotions over a computer screen. I don't even know what this person looks like. This person could be a 40-year-old man. He could be crying. And I don't know. And that's the scary thing, is it's like there's a lot of unknowns about what content creation really is, and the audiences that you manifest and the audiences that you create and develop it's private. It's secretive. You don't know everything. You can look at demographics, you can assume things. Like I just found out the other day, 20% of my TikTok following is women. That's awesome. I grew up in a household full of women, and I always want to come off as like as jokester as possible, but I also want to come off as like a safe space and somewhere that like I don't really want to be considered intimidating or um like anti this or anti that. Like I want to be very open to the community. So to hear that like 20%, that's a high percentage for me, because like every other platform it's not that high. I think that's really cool. And I think like statistics like that make me excited, because it's like, oh my God, what am I doing that's working? What is what's the new thing? And I think mainly, and I don't know how much of it is intrinsically true. I think a lot of it is there's a deeper interpersonal aspect when it comes to TikTok live streams, because they're not moderated as high. So there's a lot of times I'm putting down negative comments that aren't fair towards women, or um, just minorities in general. And I think I think it's rough that there's not a better moderation on the live streams, but it is something that's very manageable, and it's something that I just deem the right thing to do. And I think that maybe comes off as like, oh, this guy's chill. And maybe some people view it as, oh, this guy's cringe as fuck. That's the wonder of it, is it's like, yeah, you get that 3-second window of swiping on a vertical screen looking at live streamers to make an impression. And I hope my impression's always, oh, this guy is like defending this group, or defending against hate. I that's what I want to do. I've always wanted to be that type of person. So it's a nice feeling, and I think it's easier to not notice it on Twitch and YouTube, because their moderation is so high that most of that stuff doesn't even go through. Like when I get hate rated, it's very rare, but when I do, I'll just shut off stream. So I don't really defend, like, in a sense, I don't verbally defend it, but I just shut it down as fast as possible and then try and find the source and ban the source, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what actually I think Twitch recommended back when hate raids were becoming a bigger thing, is ending your stream and banning whoever started the hate raid and reporting it. So I've only had it happen a couple times, but yeah, this is like, this is the stuff I want to talk about in depth, and hopefully with other people. I have some ideas of some really fun guests, because I have a lot of friends that are in the streaming space. And I think some of them don't really get into deep detail of what their streaming life is like and what their personal life is like affected by streaming. I could say for one, my personal life has been definitely affected. I think there's times where managing a stream schedule, a work schedule, and a friend schedule and a family schedule really tough. And I think I do well, hopefully. I don't have wood to knock on, but sometimes it's a little tricky. Sometimes it feels like if you don't just give up the streaming aspect and just say, "Oh, I'll just stream another night," it's viewed as a negative thing that you said no. But I've had to personally be like, "Hey, I don't want to hang out tonight. I had this plan for like a week to do this stream. I'm going to go do it." But you can't tell people that because they don't understand like that. So that's a balance that I've learned to have to figure out. I usually end up doing both plans and I get myself burnt out pretty quickly. So I have to be careful about that. Burnout is real. Burnout is very real in this space. It's just kind of what happens. I've hit a couple walls now where I've been like, if I don't see this sort of output at this certain time, I'm retiring. And actually, one of the times I didn't see that output and I didn't see that return, and I should have retired. And I told myself no, because at that time, even though the number and the output wasn't the best, I was having the most fun I've ever had streaming. So there's just there's levels to it. Um, let's see, what else can we get into? And I don't want to get into everything this first podcast. I think saving ideas for future podcasts is a good idea. Like I want to do a whole podcast about parasocial relationships. It's something that I'm very, very adamant on that needs to change, and hopefully if I voice it and can find a way to edit it into a podcast that's digestible to the youth, hopefully I can change a couple people's minds on how they view media in general. I want to do a podcast where I talk to other streamers about what their go live routine is like or how they handle hate comments. I don't think I've addressed how I handle it, but my handling of the hate comments has always been sporadic. It's always changed. I think right now mine is addressing it with humor because I think it works well, and I think it kind of deflates the hate, because if you address something with humor from hate, you get more humor, and then they're kind of the butt of the joke. So it's like I'm originally the butt of the joke. I had one time a chatter come in and tell me that my lisp is crazy. And you know what? I know I have a lisp. Kind of crazy that I went and started a podcast when I was younger. I was in speech therapy classes for speech impediment and lisp. So suck it to whoever just was making fun of my lisp there, but you're not wrong. And I think I went on to kind of poke fun right back and get the whole chat into it. Because here's the thing is, it's like that level of hate was so minor and small, but it could have really affected someone that it actually would hurt. I don't care if people talk about the lisp. It's there. I can't I can't say birthday correctly. I say it with an F. I don't know if anyone's ever really noticed that, but when I say happy birthday, right there, I say it with an F because I can't do the TH noise. There's a lot of things that you could really pick out about someone. And that's what's easy about it, is because it's like you look at them and they're on camera. They can't really do anything about it. It's defenseless. So it's like when you say something like that, and you say like, "Oh, lisp is crazy," or this, that, or the other thing, you are taking a chance to really hurt someone's feelings as a chatter, and you don't even feel anything about it. So I've learned, if I take that mean insult, turn it into a joke, turn the joke back on the chatter. Chatter kind of feels how the streamer feels in a weird way. But the thing is the chatter can leave. So that's the beauty of it. Is it's like, okay, once the chatter leaves, that's the end of it. Solves that problem. But it's like sometimes it's like, do they fight back? If I'm a chatter in that scenario, do I fight back? I wonder that. Maybe maybe I invite a chatter on. Like just a common chatter. I think I could think of a couple that I would love to have on a stream and just sit there and just pick their brain about why they say certain things at certain times, or what makes a stream funny to them, or what got them into watching live streams. I think that's a good question to ask too. There's a lot to come of this, hopefully. I also, this name down here, right here, that's not permanent. For all the audio listeners, I am pointing physically down to Mind Milk Podcast. It could change to, I was thinking Mind Milk Cast or Mind Milk Pod. I don't think I need to call it Mind Milk Podcast. But I kind of also like the idea of calling it like MMP for short. I hope that's not an abbreviation for something. Oh my god, I just did the thing that you're not supposed to do, which is abbreviate things, because every abbreviation's bad. What is MMP? Manly micro penis. That could be it. That could be what the bad thing is. MMP. I thought of a way worse one. Holy shit. No, I hope that's not a real one. Yeah, no, there's a lot of MMP that could be. Yeah, I see. This is the dangerous thing about being in front of a camera, is you're kind of just like word vomit saying things, and then you realize you just said out loud, I'm gonna call my podcast that I've been working on for months MMP, and you don't even know what that could possibly stand for. But I kind of like the idea. MMC sounds like something, so I don't want to do MMC. And then MM is Eminem is already taken, so I can't. Marshall got that one, and the Candy got that one too. Really don't want a double lawsuit there, so we're gonna stay away from calling it MM or Eminem. But MMP, if that's fine, or MMC, if that's fine, I could see that being like a fun abbreviation. I know when I upload the Vice shows, I'm gonna try and upload them on Mondays, so it's triple M, Mind Milk Monday. You know what? That has a ring to it. Also, I'm gonna nip it in the butt the first episode. Yes, I'm aware Mind Milk sounds sexual. I'm aware it sounds like a thing. Do you think I really wanted it to sound like that? No, you guys turned it into something so nasty. Get your mind out of the damn gutter. Let's talk about the milk of the mind. You know how they always say it's like what is it? The milk, what is it? The milk of the valley? No. Oh my god. Mother's milk? No. Milk of magnesia. There's a lot of double M milk products. What is it? Oh my god, what's the expression? Um Something like it's just like milk is like a valuable substance. So it's like mind milk. It's the 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 secretion of the mind. Secretion also sounds bad. It's the output of the mind. It's we're juicing the mind of all the precious milk. It's gonna be a one episode thing, I'm afraid. This is episode 0, I believe, and episode 0 is where it's going to die. Just unfortunately, rest in peace, this podcast. Yikes, yeah, no. God, milk secretion, brain secretion, that's not good. None of that is good. Yeah. I should have maybe workshopped the name. No, I'm standing on it. I'm standing on business. It's a good name. Anyone that makes fun of it for being weirdly gross and sexual, That says more about you than it does me. Because I was thinking of the output of the brain, the milk of the brain. Um, oh my God. Now all my brain's thinking about now is how they milk nuts. Like how they like almonds and cashews and peanuts. Is there peanut milk? I don't think there's peanut milk. But like almonds and cashews and how it's like almond milk, cashew milk. I don't understand that process. Maybe for a whole podcast episode, like a big special, I'll go to like a milk factory and we'll figure out how nut milk is made. Because I know how normal milk is made. I've actually this is my first hand this is my on hand experience. One, I have a brain, so I have a mind. So the first part of the name is secured by my mind. Two, avid milk drinker. Love milk. God, I love milk too much. Any milk brand that sees this and wants to do a deal with me, you don't even got to cut me a check. Just give me milk. I'm a big fan. Big fan of the product. I've also milked a cow before, so I think I have pretty one-to-one experience about the process of milk. And I guess kind of in a way, this whole podcast is like the is a very, in a similar sense, the how like production of milk is made is like the raw product of content creation. It looks pretty plain and simple. You see it in the grocery store. You see big jug of milk. You are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go grab that, pour myself a glass of milk. That's enjoyable. I'm enjoying it. But you don't get to see like the behind the scenes work of like how they have to pasteurize the milk, and like it spends a lot of time cleaning things up. There's a lot of filters. There's a lot of like time and care and routine, and so it's like that's kind of part of it. So in a way, just like I've dug myself into such a deep hole, and I promise we're gonna get out of here soon because I can't find an escape rope fast enough. But in a way, just like how milk is created, it's like a lot of stuff is done behind the scenes. Content's the same way. Like we all digest like a TikTok, and a TikTok's like what, like a minute long, usually maximum. But like behind the scenes, that's like a whole day's worth of recording sometimes. It's like there's like deep lighting issues, or there's skits and bits, or you are clipping things and then you take the clips and you edit them and you have to have a special editing program, or like even subtitles. Some people have dedicated people for subtitles, and there's some people that are dedicated to the thumbnail of a video, and you just don't think about that type of stuff. But like that's the part of it that I love, is the idea that it's like all hands on deck constantly, and you wonder how deep it goes. It's like how many editors do like all these big content creators have, or do they all do it on their own? I know a lot of content creators that do their stuff hands on by themselves, but I also know some that are completely hands off. They're like, oh yeah, no, I don't even know who uploads my shit. That's crazy. So I'm envious of that. I wish I could just be so hands off like that I could just like send this off to an editor and never watch it, and then they could just upload it for me and put like a horrible caption and tell me that the views did bad, and I'm like, why? What went wrong? um, I sure hope this is palatable. I think it is. I think I've gotten down to like what it's going to be about. A little bit more about myself. Hmm. How do I describe myself? Dude, people ask that question a lot, and I feel like that's such a like a bad question to ask, because like I don't know, how do you describe yourself? Uh, a human being that breathes and seeks nutrients of the earth, and I have a personality. I'm humorous. And it's like, but then you can go deep into like what type of humor, or like what type of personality you have. What would my friends describe me as? I think immediately milk drinking is brought up. How much of a fan of milk I am. And then sports, I feel like comes up. Rage-inducing games like Dark Souls games comes up. I'm a very much a Flaudian style game or Dark Souls or Souls-like game kind of guy. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else are some things? I hope people think I'm patient. I try my best to be as patient as possible. I was raised kind of under the whole patience is a virtue kind of mindset, and I've kept that in the back of my head for the longest time, and I still think it to this day. I still feel like I'm very patient. I think I've lost a lot of patience throughout the years, and hopefully I can kind of gain back that calmness. Um, I don't know. What else would people describe me as? I hope funny. I hope people find me funny because it would be really awkward to see all those LOL laughing emojis and then find out nobody finds me funny. That would suck. Um, I hope creative. You know what? I got told I was in a league of my own when it comes to content creation, which I don't believe. But I think I greatly appreciate the compliment because it means that the person that said it evaluates that I make such different and unique content that it belongs in its own value system, which is cool. And that's a really big honor. I don't agree. I think there's like 10 other people doing what I do, but 10 times better. Um, I think a lot of my game has been shaped from other streamers, and a lot of my craft has been shaped from other streamers, which I'm always grateful for. So I guess in that aspect, yeah, maybe I am somewhat in a league of my own because I molded myself from people that are considered in a league of their own. Possibly. Um, I hope people view me as smart. um, now I'm kind of second guessing. What do my friends think of me? Maybe that's a question I can ask on the pod. Is what do my friends think of me? Like, what are words that come to mind when they describe me? Um, I don't know. I'm leaving physical attributes alone because I can already see some of the comments being like, "Oh, he's boasting himself in certain aspects." But like, I also feel like a lot of friends in that aspect will lie about stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got that. Like, I'm a thicker boy. I'm thick, and I think a lot of friends would be like, "Oh yeah, in shape," and I'm like, "No, no, don't you lie, don't you lie. Oh, you're healthy. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, all right. I don't think you're being honest." But I think that's also just human nature of just don't want to upset anyone, you know? Um, and that's also gonna be a part of this is when I want guests on, I want them to be brutal honest about stuff. I want them to kind of get into the deep of like, hey, like this is actually how I feel about this situation. I know it's gonna rub you the wrong way, and I'll stay neutral. I'll stay Sweden or Switzerland. Which one's the one that's neutral? Are they both? Are Sweden and Switzerland both neutral? They wouldn't go to war. Would they go to war with each other or against each other? That's a real question. Uh, um, what are some other things? I'm a cat person more than I am a dog person, but I have a dog. Well, my mom has a dog that's actually now my emotional support dog. So technically, I also partially own the dog now, like in a medical sense. And then I have a cat who is the quite opposite of an emotional support animal, almost like an emotional antagonizing animal. I don't know if those come with a vest, but I'd imagine if it did come with the vest would be. I love Bear. I'm gonna probably talk about Bear a little bit on stream. or on pod. Wow, you know what? I'm gonna be proud of myself. That was 45 minutes straight. I did not say stream one time, and this is in before someone catches me earlier saying stream, and I just didn't catch it. 45 minutes of me not bringing up stream and actually referring to it as the podcast. But I'm gonna definitely bring up Bear on the podcast a lot. Bear was a big influence in my want to do more with like deeper responsibilities, because getting Bear as a pet wasn't my choice at first. He was kind of put into my hands as like, here you go, now you have a cat. So now the real pressure is like, how do I take care of it? And so I learned, and now I want bigger responsibilities. So like owning a car, and now doing the streaming stuff. And I think a lot of me maturing into taking on more responsibilities could be rooted back to starting to take care of Bear. And he's not a perfect cat. He's actually quite literally the opposite of a perfect cat. I would think most people would not want to own this cat if he was around. But he is a true test of patience, test of wit, test of um, love for me. He he has broken a $400 monitor. He has eaten a toxic plant and had me race him to a hospital. He attacked the geckos out of my gecko tank, and quite literally have knocked over almost every single item in this home at least 3 times. Has broken so many glass items. We don't even really have glass items anymore. And quite literally, right behind me is where he shits, and in the middle of the night. You know, you learn real quick that cats don't smell good post shit, because he'll go and leave his whole entire life and business in that kitty litter box, but then jump right up onto my bed. And you know, you can only love an animal so much, chat. All right, I've obviously exhausted my brain enough that I am confusing the podcast for a live stream now. So, I think with that being said, I think this is a good place to bookmark the first, or it would be episode 0 because it's a pilot episode, but this is the first episode of Mind Milk Podcast, the pilot. I hope you guys enjoyed. Give me some feedback. Obviously, this is very rough draft of what's going on. This is kind of me spitballing what I want to do and what I want to talk about, with a little bit of like deposits of humor and bits and skits and whatever I want to do. And hopefully I can have some people maybe physically or maybe just virtually as guests. I don't know if the second episode will have a guest. Maybe it will just be me again and having a new topic to talk about. But I think that's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Uh, Seriously, feel free to give as much criticism as this deserves, because there should not be another white boy making another podcast. That's for damn sure. So put me in my damn place if it's not good. But I hope you guys, some people resonate with this podcast idea, because I want to go deep into the behind the scenes of what streamers are like. Because I definitely think I have a good grasp on what they're like, but I also want to hear firsthand what they're like, and maybe even show you at least my brain, so you guys know at least what one streamer's like. And maybe we branch out to even other type of content creation, like music producers or other stuff. Like I have so many questions for so many people that I don't get to ask on the day-to-day basis, because a lot of it is very just random, intrusive about their content life, that most people would just be like, oh, what are you, copying me? And it's like, no, I just want to know what happens when the screen goes dark, or what happens when you hit end stream, or what happens when you hit start stream. So that's the passion that I want to bring to this. So if you want to come with me on the journey, feel free to like and subscribe. comment to help boost engagement, and also just comment criticism, and then share it with people that you think would also be enjoying this. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night or day, or what other time aspects? Evening. I guess that's also night. Morning, afternoon, like that, like golden hour in between evening and afternoon. You know what I'm talking about? Like that, the best time to take a photo possible outside. I hope you're having a good, if that's that time right now, take a photo, because it will last forever. And then, yeah, no, that's just going to be it for me. So, have a good one. Peace out, y'all. And at some point, if I have like donors and stuff like that, this would be like where the credits go. To like roll credits and like, oh, thank you for donating. But I don't even have the, I don't got anything set up yet. All right, bye.